Hello, everybody. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. I thought it'd be great to kick off this month with a specific reading just for September. So, for those of you that are new to the channel, welcome. It's good to see you. By the way, if you like this, remember to like and subscribe so you never miss a future reading here. But as many of you know, I've been busy trying to get us ahead of schedule. So, I've been doing 2-month kind of sections with all of the zodiac signs. And I know not everyone loves them, but they are necessary to kind of get me ahead. We'll see. I might just do November as 1 month only. But for today, for now, let's do a specific September reading for everybody. I've never done this before, just like a general reading for the month for everyone. So what I think I'd like to do is we're going to combine a bunch of things, but I'm actually going to get straight into a card pull. And then I will do some channeled messages. So we're going to start off with the elemental check-in, because many of you may just want to know what's going on with my sign right now. So in a slightly different order than usual, I'm going to check in with all of the elements. This way, you can get a pulse check and say, where am I at this moment? Then we're going to take a look at some channeled messages, and then I may pull a regular sort of like Celtic cross to kind of go a little bit deeper. All right, so elements. Let's give it a shuffle and see what's going on for all the different signs. I group it in threes with the elements. It'll all make sense in a minute, so just stand by if you're brand new. All right, close your eyes, clear your mind of anything that you might be holding on to today. Call in angel, spirit guides, ascended masters, and imagine that you're in a circle of white light so that we can pull in the messages. All right, I separate this by fire, earth, air, and water. Let's start off with fire signs. What's going on in September for Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius? We have 10 of Pentacles energy right off the bat, which is very favorable. The 10 of Pentacles in reverse does carry with it some interesting connotations. So if we look at this in the upright position, you can see that hard work pays off. But there is some pressure this month from friends, coworkers, and family members. They're kind of hidden in the rings of the tree here. So there may be a little bit of pushback for you to decide where you stand on something, like this is my choice to study this in school, or I want to date this person, not that. The traditional sort of values and energies are tugging. It's like a little bit of a tug of war this month. So don't be afraid to stand up for yourself if you need to, and to take a step back and rest. There's a lot of work energy, a lot of focus around money, and that's all well and good, but don't lose track of why you're working so hard and what you're trying to do. Ultimately, 10 of Pentacles is very good. It shows that things are getting close to the finish line. Some of you, though, may be putting too much pressure on yourself to achieve or to catch up. Maybe the finances aren't exactly where you want them to be, and you're starting to go into this sort of stress spiral. Don't do that. Give yourself a chance to recalibrate. And remember, we talked about this on one of my daily card readings earlier this month, where I said, money as it appears in our life, it's very much connected to our relationship with self-worth. And yes, we need money to survive. That's how it works in this planet. But we also need to value ourselves, not to kind of like overwork, accept too much stress from others. And one of the things that we're seeing here is the ability to really vouch for yourself, vie for that what matters most, okay? So I definitely get a vibe around being accomplished, catching up, and also not letting people around you put all of that sort of expectation on you. You've got this, but there's pressure. So find ways to deal with the pressure. Get comfortable with your budget. Figure how much you need versus how much you want. They're not always the same thing. And I feel like you're going to end up on top of things. Tune into your bi-monthly readings because we have both months charted out, but this is going to help you get a little bit razor focused so you know which message is most assigned with the month of September, okay? So Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, that's for you. Your September and October readings are on my main channel page. Check them out. All right, let's move on to earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Pretty darn good. For you, we have the World card. It is in the upright position. That's favorable. Many of you are just finishing something or just starting something. This can be a bit of a bookend. You may also be inclined to travel, and this is a great time for that. Expansion, distribution, publication, completion, it's all the big stuff. It's the ultimate card in the major arcana. So it's a great month to shake things up. And you might also meet someone who kind of shakes your world up a little bit too, in the best possible ways, because this is in the upright position. The only thing to be mindful of, even though it's not reversed, is limiting thoughts. Because with this, it's about like expansion, blue sky, beyond the beyond. So if you kind of limit what's possible, then you'll never know what you might have accomplished if you just gave it a shot, okay? I'm looking at her dress, which is like the map. So you might find yourself in uncharted territory. The very next card is the Fool, a clean slate, but you're entering into that Fool informed. Sometimes the Fool is like a sophomore. It's your second time around, and you're much smarter because of that. So you've got what it takes, and I think really now it's just about focusing and embracing and surrendering to that thought of, let's do this, right? Because it's a big card, sometimes it can feel a little bit, you can feel a little lost. So take a moment to tune in and think, what am I trying to do? Going fast when you're lost just gets you more lost. Ambling about, if you don't know where you're going, doesn't really take you anywhere. So it would be better at the beginning of the month, since I'm doing this live at the beginning of September, to take this first week, if you're listening to it now, to do a little bit of, soul seeking and think, what is it that I want? And what is it that I need, and how am I going to get there, and tactically kind of go about that. And then once you've gotten through that and taken a deep breath, you can focus on expansion for the rest of this month. Really great energy. Keep me posted, Earth signs. And again, check out your 2-month readings and see how that aligns, especially to the energy of September. Okay? Let's move on to air signs. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. The Hermit energy coming through for you. I love that we have a lighthouse on this particular illustration. So many of you may be, it's kind of like the calm before the storm, because that's what a lighthouse can represent. There's a lot coming through, and many of you are collecting your thoughts, getting aligned to what it is you're trying to do, and knowing that, it's worth the work. I get this sort of, this push to tell you not to give up, not to lose sight of the goals. It would be a good time perhaps to kind of get out of this hermit mode a bit. So spending more time with friends and family, getting out there and getting involved in the community. Even though many of you are very, great at entertaining yourself, it feels like this is a little bit isolated for the entirety of the month. Other things that we can attach to the hermit: education. Also, just knowing that for certain things, you want to make sure that you're talking to the right person. So they're kind of showing me like zipping of the lips. So the hermit keeps to themselves. If there's something big that hasn't fully been fleshed out or you're not sure, wait until you are certain before announcing it. And otherwise, this is a learned card. The traditional version of it, we actually just did a reading on the weekend where that was kind of like our avatar. So the hermit is the light in the dark. So if a lot of people around you are kind of spiraling around, don't know what to do, you have this moment this month in particular to stand out as someone who has it together. Don't be afraid to share your ideas. This is one of the wisest cards in the entire Major Arcana, in the entire deck for that matter. So I like what I see here. Just a little bit of pulling back. So I would say one of the other aspects of the Hermit is he holds the star. And we talked about the Hermit's lantern. To take it a step further for many of you this month, it's time to step into the spotlight. Get yourself sorted. Focus on the when and the where, and then step into that spotlight when you're ready, okay? Pretty good opportunity for many of you this month, if you're ready. All right, so let's move onward to the water signs. It's Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Things are moving at a more rapid pace than they were before. It's interesting that we see the knight jumping through a hoop, a firing hoop, or a fiery hoop, rather. So for some of you, there's this feeling of like, why do I have to keep proving myself? To him, to her, to them, like so much going on, it's a little exhausting. So I would say one thing is to work smarter, not harder, and also remember, you don't owe anybody an explanation except yourself for like what the next step is or what you're doing. There may just be nosy busybodies, and there's so much opportunity for bettering and moving forward when it comes to an idea or a project that you don't want to lose sight of that. To that end, keep the momentum going and flowing when it comes to something that you care about. The Knight of Wands does allow for rapid movement, but only if there's follow through, right? Let me see if there's anything else that I want to talk about with this. I do like that this particular knight in this illustration, she looks unbothered, or he looks unbothered. They're just kind of like, all right, here we go again. That's actually a great approach for this sort of thing, and it can land you on top of things if you basically have grace under pressure or under fire. You have to live under a rock to not have seen it, but like it reminds me of Cardi B's court case where she used it to her advantage. She was just there playing to this sort of situation. It was a waste of time. She knew it, everyone else knew it, and she won. That's an example, and now she's using it for promotion. So sometimes if you're forced to go through hoops, you can come out on top, and that's an example of someone just being unbothered and doing what they needed to do and then going on the other side. I don't care whether she's right or wrong or anything. I just enjoyed watching the process of someone who was just having fun. So if you can have fun with it, I think that's really key, okay? Passion. Because you are water, anything that you can really feel the passion behind this month in particular is going to help you level up. So if your heart is in it, great. If it isn't, why are you spinning your wheels, right? Okay, so there we go. I wanted to get straight into some tangible stuff for all the signs, especially for all the comments where people were like, I love you, but I hate the 2 months. I'm like, all right, I got you back. We're gonna sort this out, folks. Ye of little faith. One thing that many of you know is I like to change things up. Just trust in the process. We might end up with something better because this is kind of fun to do checkpoints. So maybe if this is successful, if you like it, we can do a beginning and a mid checkpoint irrespective of what I end up doing in the long run. Okay, so let's talk about some channeled messages in the spirit of changing things up. I thought I'd get straight into some reading, then we get into some channeled messages. So in channeled messages, particularly in dreams, before I decided what I was going to do today, I'm like, I need to talk to the masses. What's coming through? So I felt like I was a passenger in a bus, but who was driving? I don't know. Where were we going? I don't know. And so there is this feeling of, are you in the passenger seat or are you driving? And it feels like there's a call to action collectively for all signs to get into that first gear and start driving, right? I don't drive. I do automatic, so you know what I'm saying. Just like basically gear up a little bit and get moving. The other thing here was, as I'm looking at my notes, I literally wrote this down, resist the program, which is very specific. But the program can be this sort of predetermined expectation, like there's only one way to do it, or it's always been done this way, et cetera, et cetera. Rewrite the program, but I actually got resist the program. So I feel like there's something that it's not your cup of tea, it's not right for you, and it's okay to push back, to say no, to redirect, to try new things. So as we take a look at the Celtic cross here in just a moment, let's see what's coming through. Again, we're looking at September, we're looking at all signs, and if needed, I'll occasionally dip back into sign-specific messages, but now we're going to look at a collective portion here, and we're just looking at what's coming through this month in a Celtic cross, just a Celtic cross with a catalyst. Think of this as like the best of the Sunday collective, but for everybody and for every sign. Okay, there's so many reversals here. All right, clearly we're getting our head on straight about some things because I kept on shuffling and flipping, and it didn't matter. So there are some reversals to be dealt with, and that's the way it goes, folks. If you've watched my channel enough, you know that we actually garner a lot from the reversals. So take a deep breath and embrace them. Okay, so we have a dual catalyst as we're looking at the energy here of September. Ooh, I love this. And remember, some of you actually had the beautiful world card that came through. This is for you, but it's also for all of us. So we have the map. Things look kind of scattered, or this reminds me of a constellation. So, as I said earlier, use this period of time to map things out. Part of planning for a trip is the planning part and having a successful vacation trip or process. The more you plan, the more you prepare, the easier it is, the less you're sort of sweating the small stuff. And that's the first message that comes through. Even if you're feeling, I gotta do it now, I'm losing time, no, you're not. Take an extra 5 minutes, take an extra day, get it on paper, look around a little bit, research. It'll be worth it, folks. The second message, reconnecting. So we have the connection card in reverse, so it's reconnecting. It feels like there might be someone in your life that can help you, a past connection or someone that you haven't talked to in a while. And in this sort of random reconnection, something beautiful comes through. I mentioned, especially for all of the air signs, that some of you may be feeling a little withdrawn, a little bit disconnected. So it doesn't have to be love. It could just be friendship or community or faith-based organizations, whatever it is that helps you plug in. That's what you're missing, and that's what can really bring you to the next level, okay? Now, let's see what's coming through for September for everybody. And this is going to be good for the whole month, so you can come back and watch it as needed. It's decision time. We can see that with the Seven of Cups at the center. Let's see what else is coming through in this spread. You know what? Let's celebrate the fact that there's no negative. I don't really believe in positive or negative, but let's say there's no difficult cards per se. Most of these seem pretty light and pretty bright, and that's a good thing. All right, with that being said, let's not overthink it. Let's go into the Seven of Cups. The reversal of this card represents a chance for you to make a decision. So here we see the person kind of pondering. Should I try this? Should I try that? That's actually the best part of the Seven of Cups is brainstorming, ideation, exploration. If you spend too much time doing that, stagnation happens or you feel overwhelmed. So put a cap on all of those sort of like what if moments. Say, all right, I think I've explored enough. What if I just get started on this? What if I'm more prepared than I'm giving myself credit for? Amen to that. Ask a question if something's ambiguous. So sometimes people are purposely evasive or just vague, and it can be anything, including dating, by the way. It's like, where do I stand? Are we a thing? Are we exclusive? Are we not? Like, what's going on? If it's a teacher and they gave an assignment, but you have no idea what they're talking about, raise your hand before you do it. If you're at work and someone's asking you to do something, but they don't know what they want, hit the brakes and say, if you don't know what you want and I don't know what you want, how is this going to happen? You know? So get those questions answered before moving forward. A common theme that actually aligns nicely with the whole mapping metaphor, which we talked about just a couple moments ago. Okay? All right. So let's see what else is coming through in this beautiful spread here. So we have the Nine of Cups. Celebratory, good news, fantastic energy with this. It represents, at its best, manifestation and dream fulfillment. I've been wanting to do this. Finally, it's happening. Because the card that preceded it was a questioning card, some of you are wondering, do I deserve it? When's the other shoe going to fall and something bad going to happen? Or, like, what's the catch? There doesn't have to be a catch. That's the catch. Sometimes it's just good news. Full stop. One thing you want to avoid when this card comes through, though, is making a decision based solely on emotions or when you're in a really exaggerated high or an exaggerated low. Try to find a more level middle ground before embarking on something new, significant, or unknown. But otherwise, I actually feel like you're charting in a good direction for something great. Let's not overcomplicate the Nine of Cups. Sometimes it's good news. All right, karmically, what have you been up to? So I pull a karma card in every single sign. This is connected to the karma. We have Eight of Pentacles in reverse. You know how to kind of get through a lesson, but there's a tendency or desire or a hesitation in kind of like embracing that you've actually learned the lesson. So a karmic cycle is ready to end, especially for those of you that got the world sign, but everybody, because the map came through, you can get through this. If you're really ready, you could change your relationship with money, You can change your relationship with people, with relationships. You can change your relationship with yourself. You've learned something significant. You're putting like the finishing touches on this curriculum that you've set up for your soul. But there's a questioning here, like, have I really learned? You have. But in order to show that you've graduated, you're going to have to make a decision, possibly like cut a cord or announce something or do something bold. Know that you've done the work. This one shows me that you did the homework to break the cycle. Okay? Some of you want to go back to school. Good for you. Or you want to get training or some sort of expansion of skills and expertise. Absolutely. Eight of Pentacles is perfect for that. But make sure that you follow through and take the most out of, or make the most out of that experience. You also might just be finishing up something that you put on the back burner since this is karma. But the lesson is closer than you think. The knowledge is richer than you might imagine. You don't need much more than you already have. That is one takeaway with this as well. Okay. Air signs, you're also represented here once again. We have the Hermit card in reverse, which I'd already kind of picked up on when I was looking at the Hermit. I said, I think it's time to come out of your shell. Everybody can take a little bit of that here. The Hermit put its lantern to the side. It's like, I'm shining from within. I don't have to chase her light, his light, their light. I don't have to try to prove anything to anyone. And as I'm speaking, I feel it like right in the solar plexus. But for many of you, it's just a matter of being seen. There's a little bit of something scary about that because there's increased scrutiny. There's an increased accountability, but you're ready for it. So don't sweat the small stuff. It's your moment to step into the spotlight if you're ready. Okay. I also feel this push energetically to get out there and get out of your comfort zone. Try something different. Try something new. You might meet someone unexpectedly. It's not the reason you're doing it, but there could be someone else who's seeking something similar. That was a lot of alliteration. Seeking something similar. Okay. Crowning position. You've got what it takes to do this. This is one of the hardest working cards in the minor arcana. 9 of Wands, like the Energizer Bunny. It's not going to, nobody can kind of push it down, or like a cat with 9 lives. But there is also a caveat here. Let's just finish it this time. It's like the 9th life. This time matters, okay? You can't see it in this illustration, but usually there's a bandage on the person's forehead. So what happens a lot of times is this feeling of mental fatigue, like I'm done, I'm over it, but there's still work to be done. Pace yourself, delegate, work smarter, not necessarily harder, and these things are going to allow you to get to the finish line. It would be so easy sometimes if people could just fix it all and make it happen, but you're your own best advocate, and that's what this card is reminding you of. Don't lose track of your inner light. Lead by example. I believe we got like the 7 of Swords in a recent card pull, and I was talking about the importance of integrity. So just lead with integrity, push through. You're so close to the finish line. We already got 10 of Pentacles earlier. Now we're getting the 9 of Wands. So I'm seeing everything that's necessary to kind of like get that, whatever it is that you need to be finished with, finished. So trust in yourself, okay? There could be a headache. There could be some lack. Interestingly enough, this can be difficulty in concentrating, and this can be a headache. So some of you just need to take a step back. It's a lot. There's a lot going on. Lean on the support of others, okay? To that end, as we look at the near future, we have self-care, especially in the form of mental health and just emotions in general. The 9 of Cups can go either way. Best day ever or worst day ever. And this is a very sensitive energy, 9 of Cups. So we're looking at the middle here, near future. So about 2 weeks from now, around the 14th or 15th, some of you might feel this wave of sensitivity coming through. It's okay. There is a lot of positive stuff here. Like we have a little love note. We have some roses. If you can get through this, actually, if you can even thrive in this moment of sensitivity or difficult energy around you, you can step through and be a leader. Like something good can come out of this. I feel like you can come out of it smelling like roses. Whatever it is, you've got this, but you have to get your head in the right place, and it's a lot. There's a lot going on. Friends, counselors, reading resources, whatever it is that you need to do to find the tools to cope. For everybody, it's different, and we don't all have the same tools. We don't all have the same resources. That's okay. But I'm kind of creating the map here for you so you can navigate given your own set of circumstances. But you got to take care of yourself. That's the takeaway. Whatever that is for you. Watching a movie, getting some sleep, hanging out with a bestie. I don't care. Whatever works for you. I care, but I'm like saying I don't mind what it is that you do so long as you do it. Let me rephrase. I always care. All right, so let's look at how you're showing up here. We have the Six of Wands. Six of Wands in reverse, recalibrating and redefining success for you. When you're a kid, ostensibly, but not always, sometimes parents are just kind of laissez-faire and they let you do what you want to do. But most of the times we first learn from like grandparents and parents, this is how you act. Then it's reinforced by teachers. Then as we step out into the world at large, the law, society, all those norms tell us this is what you ought to be. But what do you want to be? As I'm learning new verbs in Spanish, it's like deber versus like querer. What is it that I ought to do versus what I want to do? And in English, there is a difference as well. What do you love? What do you want? What do you desire versus what is expected? What ought you do? So I'd like you to think about you versus what the expectations are of you, and that is going to help a little bit. The other thing here with Six of Wands in reverse is sometimes there's a delay in recognition. That does not negate quality. So for instance, there are sometimes like a musician that will release a song and it isn't popular for like 10 or 15 years until like 10 or 15 years have passed because of some movie or, you know, other thing. And it's sort of like, you never know when your moment's going to come. So keep doing good quality work, keep being the best version of yourself. And eventually all those flowers, all of those sort of like accolades will catch up with you. I feel like you're just a little ahead of the curve in September. Not a big deal. Maybe just 6 weeks ahead. It may actually come through in the next month. Look at the 2-month forecast. You can see if in your sign that makes sense, because as I was looking, especially at some of the last signs that I was reading for, I was like, oh, you're actually doing even better in the second month. So check your monthly and see how that's focused or how that kind of works out for you. Don't focus too much on what other people think, right? I think that's also really, really important for you, okay? All right. One last thing. People will take as much as you're willing to give. All the hands up, all the grabbing hands. I mentioned that recently for what, like the Emperor in reverse. It works for this too. You've got to know when enough is enough. And also maybe keep a little bit to yourself. I historically don't post every little piece of my life on social media. I try to keep, like, all the business stuff is business. I like to have a life, and I like to kind of just be myself out off camera. That's not for everybody, but that is for me. Sometimes I share little pieces. For instance, Apollo, he's someone that you all enjoy seeing as well. But know what it is for you that you're comfortable sharing and what you're not, and make sure that you have that perfect balance in your own life, okay? Let's see what's going on in the environment. Oh, I have to show it on the main camera here because there is a connection here. So the Knight of Cups and the King of Cups. There's a heavy energy around you. Could be mom, dad, could be coworker, whoever it is. It's close. And then there often is, this can be parent and child. It can also be love relationship. But there feels like there's this obligatory energy between the two, right? So I even see in chat people are talking about boundaries right now. Absolutely, it's really important for healthy boundaries to exist here. Not always easy to say it with the ones that you love, right? But it's important to try to start to create that sense of this is me, this is you, and not to take on more than you need to. This is someone who might use you as their recycling bin when it comes to emotions. Sending you voice memos, sending you texts, sending you just garbage that you're not required to listen to everything that someone says when they're sending that in rapid fire. You could just say, I'm so sorry. Why don't we just catch up on the phone? That was a lot. I have a lawyer that I still work with, partly because of this. She said, I get a lot of emails per day. If you could keep it to 1 or 2 max, that helps me. She said, I went through a lot of therapy to be able to have that boundary, but it would really help because I think I might have sent 3 or something. She's like, just consolidate. I'll answer everything before the day is up. I was like, absolutely. Thanks for the limit. Thanks for the boundary. It helps me understand how to work with you. and she always gets back on time. So to me, I really respect people that know who they are and are strong enough to have the voice to say, this is important to me, because I know how to show up. So if you say it in a nice and polite and still direct way, people usually listen. So you could say, I love you, I want to be there for you, but I need, like, tonight I'm very busy. What if we catch up for tea tomorrow? And really, I can't answer the text tonight because I'm dealing with this and this, and it's actually stressing me out a little bit. So can we just save it for a face-to-face? That's still saying I care, and I care enough to meet with you. And if that's not enough, okay. So there also may just be someone in your life that you can't help with everything. And the best thing that you might be able to do is help them find a resource or just create a boundary, okay? So that's one of the challenges is in the environment, there's a lot. Someone needs or wants a lot, and you'll find your best way to articulate the boundaries. But trust me, you're going to feel so much better when you find a way to say when enough is enough. Okay, 2 cards came together here for hopes, fears, and opportunities. So once more, 10 of Pentacles. In the reverse, once more. So it's for everybody, not just the 3 signs that got this. So the 10 of Pentacles in reverse. You've got this, but it's not exactly the way, shape, or form you thought it might be or someone else thought it might be. It could be better. We're just working against the grain. And if I can find that, now it actually makes sense. Going against the grain, because this card also came through. It's the 10 of Pentacles as well. The grain is what's ingrained in us from family, teachers, society, etc. So we're going counter to that, and we see a close-up of friends, family, society, etc. here. So know what you need, know when to kind of step back. Use your voice. We have the Queen of Swords on this card in the upright position. I think I just got the King of Swords today, so this is nicely connected to that. With the Queen of Swords in the upright, we really don't have to worry. She's direct, she's communicative, she knows when to speak, she knows when to listen, because it is a combination of the two. Another nuance that I didn't even cover in the daily card read is legal matters. So this is just as legal as the Justice card on some levels. So it might be time to vet something out, get a lawyer or an accountant or someone that understands the official language of the document to kind of give it their stamp of approval. The other thing that I really like about this is she's thought it out. So when someone says, "Are you sure?" she'll say, "Absolutely, yes." And she delivers it with that sense of, "Yeah, I'm sure. Do you have any questions?" So you want to get to that point of confidence, especially if you're going to tell someone what you plan to do. Don't tell it as a question, like, well, what if this, or what? Say, I've thought about this and I'm moving forward on this. And if you don't want input, don't ask for it. This is like, especially for a major life decision. Like if you're quitting or starting a family or whatever, you're not inviting criticism on that. And you can even say that because that was the boundary. I appreciate the concern. I don't think I asked for it, but I appreciate it. I'm good. I thought this through. How are you? What's going on with you? Flip it. You'll find a way to do it that's not so curt, but that's kind of what needs to happen is the table needs to be turned, and the Queen of Swords can turn the table. All right, in the outcome, we have the Emperor card. I love this particular version of it because we see that he's getting super strategic with the chess piece there. So as you're starting to move forward over this entire month, think about, how am I getting closer to what I intended to do? If there's anything where you're just spinning your wheels or it just feels like it's a waste of time, you don't have time for this right now. You got too much that's coming through. There's too many things that you should be focusing on. And this card is saying, come on now. So I think that we really need to make sure that things are mapping up to your vision. The other thing here is just stepping into that spotlight. We talked about it here. There's a little bit of shyness, but you are absolutely able to make this happen. Okay? All right. So let's see what I want to do next. We could pull a single card for each. I want to keep it faster. I'm not going to go into the subdivisions because you have that in your monthlies. But I will pull a single pulse card for each of the expanded forecasts just to help you see for your sign. Well, actually, no, for everybody, like how to calibrate the 2-month forecast. So we're going to start off first with health. Let me just get to the right page here. So we're going to look at health, which is mind, body, and spirit. Okay, and well, actually, we're going to do all of it. Let me just pull all of them, but we'll start off with health. So for health, it's the Two of Pentacles, wealth, love, and destiny. Okay, there's that Knight of Wands again. Okay, so actually, well, we'll leave it. I feel like, yeah, we're good. Okay, I forgot I was reusing a deck here, but that's fine. It was meant to be. No accidents. All right, for health, we have the Knight of Wands here. And with the Knight of Wands, I'm going to also pull just an oracle card to help with this. What is this going through hoops all about? What do you need to focus on for health? Okay, this helps. So we have, as a sort of supporting card, the Visionary. There may be someone who, especially if it's a doctor or a physician, they're not listening to your perspective, or a family member. They don't get it. They're like, it's almost like there's blinders on. So if there's a situation in your life where someone isn't on the same page as you, it's really important to make sure you get a second opinion and vet out all assumptions. And then also remember, like, it cuts both ways. We're looking at health, but this also reads a little bit as like relationships. So if you're there and you're giving 100% and someone else is only giving like, well, nothing in that case, but let's say it's like 60-40, and something like that, it needs to be shifted a little bit so that both parties are giving equal amounts. And that's kind of what I'm getting here. Making sure that someone sees you on the level and they're also putting in the same level of effort. Let's go ahead and look at this from the perspective of health. I need to turn up my AC because it's hot tonight, and I'm going to highlight some things for health here. Okay, from a health perspective, there's a lot around cognitive issues or challenges. This can be, some of you are just working so hard that there's diminishing returns. And I'm not looking at wealth, but it's coming through because that's what's causing it. So migraines or confusion. There could also just be difficulty in focusing. So when this happens, you just need to take a break. If it persists, talk to a doctor, but I feel like most of this is stress-oriented. Okay. Be mindful of excess. You can overwork, just like you can overdrink, just like you can oversleep. Anything in excess is not beneficial. Be wise on that. When it comes to the people that you spend time with, that can have a major effect on your health. You're sensitive, they're sensitive. It kind of creates this exaggerated Nine of Cups. So I think it's important. That's maybe why you kick off the month with the Hermit. The Hermit's helping you zone out of that and zone more into the final messages that we see here. If something doesn't feel right or sound right, speak up. There may be a family member that needs help. And you don't have to do this alone. Work with the support of others. You don't have to have the conversation alone. This is a conversation as a part of a group, because together the message can get across much clearer. Okay? I actually quite like what I see here. By the way, we can take this a little bit more at face value. Some of you may be overdue for an eye doctor appointment, an optometrist or an ophthalmologist. All right, let's move on. We just looked at health. Let's go to wealth. And we have a great card for wealth, the Page of Pentacles. It's a fruitful card. It's also showing that in order for things to move forward, you have to continue to follow through. So as long as you're following through on things, it should be fruitful. Things should move forward. Let's just get a clarifying card as well. Ooh, major changes for some of you. We have the Death card, one of the most beautiful death cards here. So we see someone kind of half in, half out. So I pulled the World for some of you. This is that moment of redefinition. The world as you know it no longer is. It's time to step into something new, something different, ostensibly something better, if you're ready to do so. Okay? Looking at it for everyone. If you want the exact breakdown, you can go to your monthly readings, because I go super granular. So we're not going to do that here, but what I'm going to look at here instead is high-level points of interest for those of you that are watching for the month of September. Okay, so this month, change, without a doubt, is coming through. Some of you are feeling a little bit resistant to the change. Let's look at what you might want to change. For some of you, there's this feeling of not being seen. The Hermit in reverse can also be frustration. Why don't you see me? Why don't you listen to me? So the Queen of Swords finds her voice and she speaks up. That's advantageous no matter what station you're in your life, whether student or working or retired or anywhere else. Use your voice, speak up, ask questions, particularly with what we're seeing here. Because one thing that annoys me with what might be going on for some of you is opaque. Like looking at this, you can see it. You can't focus on it. It's not because the camera's not working. It's because this person's not completely here. So there might be someone who is just giving foggy instructions, and it makes you feel a certain way. So ask a question. Say, I'm sorry, I need something. You need to clarify. Before I begin, I need clearer instructions than that. Okay? If not, then say, I'm just letting you know that without clarity, I can't execute on your vision, etc., etc. Some of you, this is very helpful for students and retirees, are just mapping out the next step. You're like, okay, I finished that, now what? So generally speaking, figurative or literal graduation or retirement, you're putting something to rest, and you're like, ugh, what do I do now? Have some fun with it. Feel it out a moment. Don't make a decision right away. The Seven of Cups is encouraging you to step back and explore a little bit, and then lean into the heart space. No matter what you're looking at this month, you can end on a very positive note. You can come out of something that is not ideal, smell like roses. We have the voice coming through with Queen of Swords and the power coming through with the Emperor. So it's not impossible to navigate this energy by any shadow of doubt. The difficulty this month is in headaches, confusion, and emotions. So take care of yourself and don't let other people use you as the recycling bin, as we talked about. There are some hidden resources to be had. You never know till you ask. And by the way, there's power in numbers. So the same way I was saying, like in a family situation, don't be the only one complaining. In a work situation, get a bunch of other people to voice the same concern at the same time. This emperor will be more likely to listen, or you could step into a position where people are like, okay, that's the only kind of caveat. I'm sure we've all been in one of those, I spent time in corporate world, where they're like, fantastic, how would you like to chair that? You're like, no. You don't have to do it. Just say, nope, I'm saying there's a problem. You can chair it. I can advise you, but I'm not going to fix your problem. That's what I would say now, because no, I'm not your mop-up crew here. I have enough on my plate. Would you like to pay me extra to chair that? It's so tricky how they get into that sometimes, right? All right. Let's take a look at... we looked at health, wealth. Let's just look at what's coming through for love. We have the Queen of Swords in reverse. Queen of Swords making another appearance here, which is fascinating. So, Queen of Swords. All right, speak up. Discipline. Again, easier said than done. With this, I think it is really important. We talked about this, like there's the certain limits. I talked about my accountant, or not my accountant, but my lawyer that says I can only have this much communication per day, like one email, or in this amount of time, don't send any more than that. Like that was very helpful. You can do something like that too, but you have to do it from an elevated point of view. That's the challenge, but it's super, super helpful. So it's important to, this is a very good, listening, kind Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords in reverse is just like, listen, this is what we need to be focusing on right now for happiness, for everything in that respect. So, all right. Again, a lot easier said than done. How's this going to break down into relationships? Let's take a look at it. So in relationships, sometimes it's hard to put those boundaries, even when it is someone that we love, right? I get it. But like the first cut is the deepest and the hardest, but after that, things will go a lot easier, and you just need to trust in yourself on that. All right, relationships. Here's what I see. Again, fear and familial pressure. So your friends and coworkers, your family, there could be pressure. Again, I think it's important to speak up, and for some of you, maybe to create some more distance between them. In core relationships, let's say friendships, and those of you that might be partnered, you're not on the same page. Some of you might be focusing a little bit more on your point of view, or they might be listening but not really kind of taking it all in. So ask a question, check in with them, make sure that you're not assuming anything. There's a persuasive quality to the Nine of Cups that I quite like. So you have a good chance of getting that which you seek, but I think it's really important to make sure that there's balance on both sides of the equation, that This can be something where both parties are winning, but I feel like everyone's in their own world. That's kind of what I'm picking up on here. Okay? So take time to tune in. There's a lot of focus on personal development and work. This can create friction. This could also be something that you could map out together in core relationships. One thing you want to avoid, it doesn't matter what level of relationship it is, but being parental, kind of going into that energy of I'm the boss, right? Or I'm the mother or father figure in this. We want to kind of level the playing field. So again, whether it's your partner, whether it's a best friend, whether it's just a teacher, whatever in your life, and there's this sort of sense of looking down. Let's find a way to kind of be on the same page so more can get done at the same time. I definitely get fatigue and sensitivity also coming through loud and clear here. So making sure that you check in and see if it's the right time to have a key conversation, that's also important. Okay, let's now drill into destiny and see what's coming through here. There's a choice, a big choice at hand. The Two of Pentacles is really telling you that try though you may, you can't do everything that you want to. You can't be everything for everyone. It's important to make a choice. And if we kind of drill into this destiny card, someone wants to kind of keep you where you're at. This is really interesting. In order to grow, sometimes you have to go. And it's interesting because there's some like if we just look at these themes, so looking at health, it's making sure that you have that high level vision. Looking at wealth, knowing when it's time to walk away. Looking at love and relationships, discipline, but not falling into the position of being mom or dad, especially if we're looking at a love interest. And now that same theme of change and control is coming through here with the suppression card. Suppression in the major arcana could come through in a few ways. One would be the devil. One would be the strength card because it does show a theme of domination. Emperor, Empress because they're bossy cards. But good leadership, good love is freer than that. So as we're looking at destiny and overarching vision, giving yourself and other people room to breathe and being strong enough to say, if it's meant to be, it will be. I don't need to force a connection. And if somebody's trying to force me to think, feel, or be a certain way, then I can't spread my wings. Then it's suffocating. So you're walking, because I also feel like the discipline can sometimes fall into that category. So it's saying, I need to step back from that. So there's a liberation and a realization that your voice, your vision, yourself, it can't be lost in the equation. So some of you might be pulling all of that back together. All right, I'm going to reset all the cards here. I have a hard stop in half an hour, and we're not going to take that much time here, but let's see if there's anything that anybody's going, like, if there's anything that you're dealing with right now, you can put it into chat. I'm going to take a look at what you need to know, because this is a little different than our traditional one. So what I'd like to see is, what does everybody right now need to know in this month ahead? And let me select a different deck for that. And then we'll go into if there's anything in specific or particular that you guys are needing or wanting. What do you need to know? You're fine. You've got this. So once again, we have the Six of Wands. So this person, I forget the name of the sport, but it's like when they hoist themselves up over that. Is it javelin or something? I don't know what it's called. But anyway, there's an Olympic sport where the person runs, they use a stick, and then they kind of like hoist themselves up over that. That's what this is. There's a little bit of a push. And that's the difficult part right now. You're in the push phase. You're either running up or you have to push yourself to create that momentum. But it's worth it. Whatever it is that you're working on, you can do this, and it will be worth it. You're just not there quite yet. You're either on the acceleration or kind of like staking a claim and pushing yourself up over it. Okay? Let me ask what you can do to make this happen with greater ease. Pole vault, thank you. I knew if I talked long enough, it would come through. It's pole vault. Look it up on YouTube. You'll see what I'm saying. Ah, interesting. Okay. So this is an unusual Hierophant because he's looking outside of the box. Well, he's looking inside of the box, but there's nothing there. It's sort of like, I need to try something different, because the reversal of this would be the opposite of what you see here. So going beyond old boundaries, limits, and expectations. Also knowing that once you've learned something, knowledge, you can't unknow it, you can't unsee it, you can't unlearn it. So there may be someone in your life that just wants you to stay the way you were. The suppression energy, that's all it is. And they're like, you can't leave me. What will I do? You'll be fine. They'll be fine. They're watching you mature or expand beyond the sort of original version of yourself. And remember I said resist the program? This is it. Resist someone's desire to put you back into that box. I enjoyed Tori Amos when she first came out. Her first couple of I mean, I love her still, but like especially when she first debuted, I remember some of her visuals. She was in a little box, and one of her songs is Silent All These Years, and it's about finding your voice, right? And so she played around with the theme. I think even in that video, you see her kind of rolling around in that box. It might have also been in like the Winter video, but once you've found your voice, you can't put it back. And it's okay to disagree and not want to be a part of the old construction anymore. You're also seeing life beyond the 3D, 4D. You're going bigger. There's multi-levels to things, and there's a lot of people that are still asleep or that are still not ready to look at it from all dimensions. Not just directions, not just the 3D, but like multi-dimensional. So there you go. All right, so I'm looking at folks here. Boundaries, some of you are dealing with boundaries, which I think we covered to a decent degree, and indecision. Maybe those are two things that I can look at. Okay, let's look at boundaries and indecision. These are universal things I think that we all deal with from time to time. All right, I'm gonna go select another deck from my shelf, so hang tight. We'll put Apollo up for a second. All right, so boundaries and indecision. Let's take a look at that. Woo! We got a boundaries one right there. And indecision. For boundaries, we have the Ten of Wands. So this is one of the more powerful I mean, they're all powerful, but this is a powerful answer for that. The Ten of Wands is usually burdened. This one is not. All of the sort of antlers are pointing up. It's almost like a different posture. When you truly know what you want, what you're ready for, it's sort of like, I've come this far, let's finish this. So hold firm to them, watch your posture, and eventually they'll wear down, because that is the sort of overarching energy of the Ten of Wands. Repetition. It does not have to be cruel. It does not have to be condescending, but you just say, no, I still don't want to do it. Sorry, no. Keep saying no until it hits. And eventually they'll be like, okay, I guess I'll go to someone else. All right. Repeat the boundary firmly, kindly, assertively, until it sticks. The other thing, by the way, create some distance. This is a traveling card. Sometimes you have to be separate from that for a little bit to clear your head. All right, so boundaries and procrastination. Was that the other one that I'm looking at, I think? So for this one, we have the Page of Cups. I'll give another example for this. So when it comes to kind of like getting inspired about something, so like I said, I'm learning a new language. Well, not a new one. I'm reacquainting myself with an old one that I need to learn. I was working with my tutor today, and one thing that helped is like we went to news sites. I like to read. I mean, that's why I studied English and journalism and all of that. So I mentioned today, I'm like, could you recommend some books that are like at my level? And so he did. And then he's like, let's also try, because I said, I mean, my undergraduate's journalism. So he's like, why don't we read some news stories? So we went through it just to kind of see what my reading comprehension was, and it's pretty good. So my listening and reading comprehension are better than my speaking because I still need to get the grammar and vocabulary where it needs to be. But when I read it, I've got it. I can get contextual clues, and I remembered as a kid, that's how you get better. So I was like, oh, learning can be fun if I'm enjoying it. So why don't I like read news stories? And then get to a point where I can read, and there's something really cool with that because it's liberating. So I don't like textbooks, but I'll read the textbook I'd rather read a little bit and get my skills up that way than just look at all these conjugations and all of that, because it's dead in the book, but it's living when it's inside a book. So I have to kind of like find a way that's fun for me. So for you, figure out what's fun for you. If you have to work on your health, and you get bored with like lifting weights, maybe you do better in a class. Maybe you can put your iPad there while you're working out and watch a TV show or something like that. So find the fun in the work is what I'm getting. Find a way to make it more engaging. It's still work. It's never going to be woohoo. It's called work for a reason. But if you enjoy what you're getting out of it, it's not as taxing, right? So that's one of the things that I would say here. Okay, so I like that we're really looking at the crown chakra here. Awareness, enlightenment, curiosity. You should be able to be involved with something or someone or an engagement where you're allowed to ask questions. If it is just like your way or the highway, and that isn't very engaging when it comes to learning, right? Or doing anything. So there has to be this sense of engagement. And this is going to help you more with the map energy that we had pulled earlier, mapping out new opportunities. There has to be that sense of, I can see why. I can see the big picture. Okay? Let me see if anyone else is dealing with stuff. Yeah, television is good. Music is good. Also, when learning a new language, it's necessary. Oh, indecision. Okay, thank you, indecision. If you can't make your mind up, what can you do? What should you be focusing on for indecision? We got like the most indecisive card next to the Two of Swords. It's kind of what I was just talking about, but one of the two options is going to feel lighter and brighter. What we want to subtract from the equation is fear, pressure, anxiety, or expectation. These things create this sort of like, they're creating it's like a silk cloth and you can't see through it. Go to something that feels right to you. But there's a reminder, don't overextend yourself. So the option where you feel taxed emotionally, energetically, or time-wise is the wrong one. The one that requires you to work too much or give up too much is the wrong one. The one where you feel like everyone's happy but you is the wrong one. So that can help you eliminate one of the two choices. The one that takes you for granted and stretches you to extremes is the wrong one. If they're almost exactly even, close your eyes and pick the one that comes to your mind first. Ask yourself, what do I really want? Almost invariably, there's always one that's a little stronger. And that's what we got here. Which one doesn't deplete you? Which one makes the heart skip a beat? That's the choice. We don't have to overcomplicate it. There's always a choice that feels better. And if you have an intuition that something's off, listen to that and go with the other one. You might just be looking at it's maybe just a hair of difference, but I'd always go for the one that doesn't stress me, that isn't going to exhaust me, that feels a little bit better, that doesn't give me the ick. That's what you want to focus on. If there's no idea of what to do, like it's not that there's two choices, but I don't know what to do, that's okay. I mentioned one thing that I like to do, which is to read, but expose myself to new different things, like different points of view. Watch a new movie, listen to a podcast, read a book, talk to someone I've never talked to. These sorts of things help me explore the world at large. And from that, I can get inspired. So if there's indecision from a lack of, I don't know, then expose yourself to different ways of thinking and doing things and see if that doesn't open up a channel. Time matters though. So there also is something here, like one thing that you can use to help you is how much does it cost? How much am I spending energetically? How much am I spending on my watch? How much is it affecting my wallet? Those sorts of things are going to also help you if you have no idea. So when in doubt, go to those obvious things and that will help you out. Okay. All right. I can take one more. By the way, in the future, I may do one for everyone and then open it up just to chat members, or I might take questions through chat. But like today, I just wanted to show up and give everybody a September reading because I know there's been complaints. So hopefully this helps everyone that was like, I missed your monthlies. Well, maybe we can just do stuff like this occasionally too. Because like I said, I'm going to travel in October, and it's going to be difficult for me to, if I do just November now, I don't know what I'm going to do for December. We'll figure it out, step at a time. Just trust me and be patient with me, because I'm going through a lot when it comes to like big life changes. So thank you. All right, self-sabotage seems like a good question. So self-sabotage and fear, I feel like they might be kind of related, but let's like look at self-sabotage. One step at a time. Eight of Wands is normally a card that shows everything happening at once. This one shows each step along the journey as being important. Don't try to skip a step. Have you ever watched like a little kid run up the steps and you're like, you're going to hurt yourself? The older you get, you're like, I am not going to risk breaking an elbow, bruising a bone. I will take my time to go up each step. When you're young, you can break your bones a little easier, but as you get older, it's not something you want to do. Don't skip a step, don't rush, take it one step at a time. That's what I'm seeing here, because you might be sabotaging yourself, believe it or not, by trying to skip over something. Also, what we're seeing here is procrastination, because this is a very active card. So I'm not a big fan of like drinking caffeine, but like grab some tea, find a little different place where you can be, focus on what you need to do. It won't be as hard as you think. Time will fly. Time has flown today. I was like, oh, we'll talk for half an hour or something. It's been like an hour and 10 or something. So time flies when you just push play in life, right? So take a note from that. All right. So what was the other one? Self-sabotage and fear. Fear. Okay. Someone asked, is Apollo learning Spanish? He listens more to the tone of my voice, but yes and no. Anyway, we'll see if he learns more as time goes on. All right. So how to overcome fear. I mean, you're further along than you think. This was the deep karmic past, the Eight of Pentacles. So fear is something that through education, the more you know, like that in the United States back in the 80s and 90s when they used to have public service announcements on TV, there was this little star with a rainbow on NBC, and it was like, the more you know. But this is saying through context, through life experience, fear dissipates because you have gone through it. You know you can do it. So the more you experience and the more you know, the less fear sets in. Context. So educate yourself. Ask others that have gone through a similarly difficult situation. I'm afraid. How did you deal with this? I'm nervous because I don't understand it. Ignorance can be healed through education. Education can then get rid of the fear. This will then give you the empowerment that you need. So learn something new. And you're already learning something new as we speak. Okay? There we go. For those of you that decided to hit watch right now, thank you. I'm going to gift some memberships because why not? Here's 5 memberships for those of you that decided to show up tonight. Welcome. Let's take a couple moments to wrap up for today. First of all, this is unusual. I don't think I've ever done a monthly reading just in the middle, like for everyone. This is a different format. I may change it up. I might add some new things into it. Today, I just wanted to show up for you. And just like that procrastination thing, I'm like, we got to do it. Let's do it now. Tonight's going to get away. So I hope you enjoyed it. When this goes on replay, leave a comment. Let me know what part of it you like the most. Let me know if you'd be interested in a mid-month one as well. Let me know if you'd like to see a reading on your person or something like that. I've been trying new things that I'd resisted for a long time, like pick a card or your person. We'll do, by the way, maybe at the end of all of this, an extra card, but let me just get through all of this first. So hit like and subscribe. Let me know if you enjoyed this. You can give me a follow on social. I did, before I started today, blast it out on social so that if you follow me somewhere, you probably got a notification. So definitely on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and even on Blue Sky and X, I put something out there. So give me a follow if you don't already, and you can go to my website for official links. It's listed on the main channel page. Okay. If you did like this and you want to say, thanks, Nicholas, this meant a lot, you can do that right here, right now by joining, gifting a membership, or giving a sticker, and I'll take a couple moments to say thanks. I do see all of it, even if I forget to say someone on the live stream. I think I forgot to thank Bernadette, by the way, on the weekend, who gave me a really nice sticker. So by the way, thanks, Bernadette, because I do go back on the replay and look at everything. So thank you to all of the folks that are regular gifters and show up frequently. I appreciate you. And honestly, I couldn't do it without you. So thank you very much. Okay. To that end, let's give some gratitude. By the way, this reading can be used for everybody, and I will do a final card at the end of all this, but I want to say thanks to everybody first. So starting off with those in the live stream that might be celebrating a milestone. Let's begin with that. All right, so Jill, 36 months. Thank you so much. I talked about being a longtime member. I know you've been a subscriber longer than that, but thank you for the membership. That means a lot. That helps a lot. That's helped purchase deck and supplies here, so thank you so much. Let's see. Sweet Sage, one Sweet Sage, I think it is. Thank you for your sticker. Thank you, Colette, as well. Gia, thank you. Colette, you were kind enough to gift 5 memberships, so welcome to the 5 that were gifted by Colette. Let's see. Sathia, I think it is. Thank you very much for your sticker. Same thing for Mel305. Brenna, welcome to the folks that got a membership from me. Jeannie, thank you so much as well. Okay. So you still have a chance to gift if you'd like. I'm going to do one final question because I said I would, and it's a nice way to sort of sign off. And for those that stuck around, it's a bonus. All right. If you still have a question, think about that question. And again, we're changing everything up in the order today. So you can't just tune out for no reasons. You're like, oh, look at that. That's new. All right. If you have one more question that I didn't answer in the Q&A portion, think about it now. Go ahead and surrender that question to Spirit. And here's what we've got. Interesting. If it's a yes or no, some of you need to take a little bit of a break, take a step back. It's yes, but it feels like you might be forcing things a little bit too much. If it's another person, let them meet you halfway. Also remember how frustrating it can be sometimes to have someone put words in your mouth. So rather than saying, isn't that right? Or don't you agree? Like, give them some space to speak and think and show up the way that you need them to show up. And if they don't, you probably still can get what you're looking for. There's like a relationship energy to this, but it's a little bit of a push. For those of you trying to get something like a job or something to happen, there needs to probably be a little bit more of a push on your side. That being said, there's some sort of hesitation on the other party. And when that happens for me, sometimes I just question, is it worth it? Is this the right thing? So yes, you can get it, but it's a little more work than you might imagine. So I'd love for you to explore other options. Moving that to the side, this is also about fatigue. Some of you need a break. Some of you may be strong-armed into doing something you don't want to do. Don't do it. Because this person probably will learn that they can get their way and try to do more of the same. So be strong. Don't force a connection if it doesn't exist. Take your time and explore options to make sure that you're not settling for something that's less than you deserve. And that, my friends, is it for this very special reading today. By the way, thank you. I saw we have a couple new ones here. Jeannie, thank you for your sticker. And PJ, thank you for gifting memberships. So yeah, I might do more of these over the course of this month. Again, I'm going to have to start to pack up my studio probably towards the very end of the month or beginning of next month, which is why I'm trying to get us ahead. But I'd like to be here for you, and I listened to the feedback, and I saw the complaints. So I'm sleeping on it. I'm 4 of swordsing it tonight and deciding if I'm going to do November as standalones, and I might just do them as a single one, and then do my best when I arrive in my new home sometime in October to get the December ones done. But we should be enough ahead by then that I can still do that. So thank you, everybody, for your patience, and enjoy. And again, we'll do this for next month. I'll probably do it before the end of the month for October, so you have it. But at the very least, I'll do it at the first of the month because then I got to start to pack up stuff. All right, guys, from my heart to yours, wishing you all the best. Let's give Apollo a little snuggle, and then we'll wrap up. He does know his name. Hey, Apollo. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Yes. Good boy. All right, everybody. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you soon. Thank you for making time with me tonight. Much love and light.